All right, Rob, thank you. Not far from our nation's capital in College Park, Maryland, the Xfinity Center filled to capacity for a Big Ten matchup of two upstart programs, one in the top 25 Indiana, the other hovering around it, the Maryland Terrapins. You will see some outstanding stars, two of the best big men, not only in the Big Ten, but the country. Bruno Fernando and Juwan Morgan will be on display. And as for freshman of influence, Romeo of Indiana and Jalen Stick-Smith of Maryland, it should be outstanding. Look at the standings for the Big Ten. How influential is this game? Well, Maryland is in the middle of a 4-game run, and Indiana 3-1, 12-3 overall. And every game gets important this time of year. Alongside Donnie Marshall, Tim Brando, we've got a lot of NBA scouts here to take a look at all of this talent. And I think what this talent means to its team and where the teams are collectively is what's on the minds of many.
Yeah, for Indiana, 5 of their next 7 are on the road. This is a huge game. You come off really a lackluster performance against Michigan. You got a great chance to get it back here at Maryland. For Maryland, they've won 4 straight. They had a heartbreaker against Seton Hall a few games back. This, again, any win in this conference, I say 10 will get you in. If you can get 10 wins in this conference, you're getting into the tournament. Big game tonight.
There may be 10 teams get in the big tournament.
That's right.
Out of this league. As you look at our starting lineup, sponsored by Jeep Grand Cherokee, we mentioned Langford, Al Durham, along with Devontae Green, Justin Smith, and the aforementioned Juwan Morgan. Anthony Cowan has been lights out. Coming off a career performance at Minnesota, the freshman Ayala has made his life easier in the backcourt. Darryl Marcel, another outstanding freshman to go along with Smith and Fernando. And oh, by the way, Rob Fennessy, the youngster that's been out for 3.5 weeks, has been cleared. As those of you that were watching our pregame show probably already know, Donnie had the occasion to talk with head coach Archie Miller, and he said, yep, he's been cleared, gone through concussion protocol. They hope to massage some minutes with him, and I'm curious as to how that will affect the chemistry of this young Indiana team having him back. There's the opening tap, and it is controlled to Indiana. But check that Maryland as you look at Bo Borowski, Brandon Cruz, Rob Keeneman, our 3 officials for tonight's game. Inside, Fernando can't get it to go. Right away, they go right inside to him. The rebound to Morgan.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do. You got one of the most powerful bigs in the game today. You got to start the game, set the tone, get it, make him happy early. He missed it. He's not going to miss a lot of those tonight.
Here's Langford. I've really been looking forward to seeing this young man. His all-floor game is just fantastic, and the story that surrounds him, which we'll document as the night goes on, is pretty special. Ooh, the iron unkind early to Juwan. That touched him all almost before not going down.
He does that a lot, though, recently to start games. See if the three-point shot is falling. I like him to do his work inside early. You can't get warmed up in a game like this. You got to start out hot.
That three-pointer won't go. Bruno Fernando with the rebound. Baseline. Gets it out to Cowan. Look out. This one off the heel, and it's a tap-out controlled by Juwan.
That's one thing that Archie Miller told me today was that he'd like to see Juwan Morgan get going down low. Put some pressure on Fernando. See what happens early.
Lots of movement with little production in the first 90 seconds.
I still think you got to go back to Fernando down low. You have to test the bigs, and you got to give him a better pass. You know, here there's 2 pieces to this, Timmy. It's one, the bigs got to give you a target, a hand away from the defense. That's a target. Bruno has some big targets, which are big hands, but also get yourself in a position as a guard to make a good pass. You can't be lackluster with it and just expect he's going to catch it from anywhere. Throw him a pass he can catch.
Durham on a dribble drive, uses the window. Had to work hard to get that bucket, and it's 2-0.
I think that should be the mantra for Big Ten basketball. Had to work hard to get that bucket.
Smith can't get that one to go.
Because it's every time down the floor.
You're right. We saw Mark Turgeon there a moment ago. Listen, he said today, I said, how pivotal is this game, do you think, for 2 young teams that are sitting up at the top of the race? I know it's early. He said, Tim, listen, I think every game is that vital in this league, because if you could just get, like you said, to 10 wins, it means everything. And the long endurance test of a conference race in this league is not like others, as you see Justin Smith on the other end, and 6 unanswered for the Cream and Crimson of Indiana.
And defensively right now, Maryland's, they're also trying to feel their way through the beginning of this game, giving up layups inside. It just cannot happen, especially at home. Now that paint area has to be better protected. If teams shoot threes and make them, that's one thing, but you got to protect your paint.
Oh, they're missing bunnies inside. Sticks unable to get that one to go. Maryland playing with some anxiety here at the outset. Over 3 minutes gone by. There's an answer from deep by Devontae Green, and Turgeon needs to call a timeout and does. They've looked really smooth, getting the job done in transition from defense to offense.
Yeah, you got to be clean with the basketball. Indiana, they get after it. They get their hands in the passing lane. This is just too easy. A layup drill right now, and when that basket opens, you start to make them from the outside. IU up 9 early.
Some of your Honda owners and some...
Now in his second full season at Indiana, his 8th overall. Remarkable work done at Dayton before getting the job. Played, of course, at North Carolina State. Looking for an elusive road victory in the Big Ten. Inside work, and finally the bucket goes down for Anthony Cowan. Should come as no surprise, because he was red hot, scorching at the Williams Arena in Minnesota. You talk about a comeback victory and then taking over the last 7 minutes of that game. He did that. There's a nice runner off the window by Justin Smith to counter.
Well, it looks like the Indiana players got the memo from Archie Miller earlier today and said attack the bigs. They may block a couple, change a couple, but you have to go to the chest of the bigs for Maryland, and good things will happen. It's happening early.
Jalen can't get that one to fall. So Sticks is struggling a little bit. Jalen Smith, the freshman from right here in Baltimore, Maryland, Mount St. Joseph. And there's a foul. And a timeout. Early on, Indiana looking smooth on the road.
Monday on FS1.
Welcome back here, College Park. Hoosiers up 11-2 over the Terps. Listen, it's been a slow start for Maryland so far, but this guy, Bruno Fernando, he has to be the key that starts the engine. You got to go inside to him. He's got 1 touch so far, Timmy. That's not enough. He's done such a great job this season of adapting, coming back to school after testing the waters in the NBA, and Turgeon has got him prepared, but his team has to believe in him and go to him.
And you look at that scouting report on him, and he definitely improved in all of these areas since coming back. How many times have we seen that? The guy that tests the waters and then finds out from the scouts that everything his coach was saying was a problem was in fact a problem.
Yeah.
And they come back, and all of a sudden, their game really comes together. We've seen that at several places. Nick Ward comes to mind at Michigan State, by example.
In a game like this, it's important to understand, if you're his teammate, to know that it might not be your time just yet. I had an All-American teammate in Danielle Marshall when I was in college at UConn, and scouts would be at every game, and there were certain games where we thought, they're there to see us, but they weren't. They were there to see him, and a lot of us tried to play like we were going to the NBA. It was his time. I think it's important for his teammates to understand this is Bruno's time. You got to get him touches.
Well, Rob Finnessy, as we mentioned, the freshman from Lafayette, Indiana. Gosh, first time since I think World War II that they got a player out of Lafayette to
You're right.
Bloomington, Indiana. He's back on the deck, and in a game like this, particularly with these outstanding guards for Maryland, it really helps Indiana from a matchup standpoint. See how many minutes that he logs here. Fernando up at the top of the key has to give it up. Morcell lost it. Another turnover, another layup opportunity. Indiana made 5 straight shots to open this game, 4 layups and a 3, and now they've gone to the free throw line to lead by a dozen. Langford with a little stop and go. He's so smooth, almost effortless in his approach. Durham, nice dump down. The extra pass, I don't know that he needed it.
No.
Leads to a turnover.
Yeah, those are tough plays, too, because you know the shot clock is running down. And Smith has to know if you're past one of their bigs, you got to go up and challenge. You had a wide open layup there.
By the way, did you notice what Archie said to me today at the end of the shoot-around? Did you happen to notice? Remember when he played here at NC State?
Yeah. Oh.
He said that this was the toughest crowd he ever had to deal with. And, I mean, he came over unprovoked, by the way.
That's right.
To remind me of that, because at that time, of course, this program in Maryland was in the ACC, and he was playing in North Carolina State. School is not in session, but they will be heard from.
And let's remember, it's also Paul Fieldhouse.
That's right.
So it's a little bit different atmosphere.
Yeah.
A much different atmosphere there than it is here. Beautiful building, beautiful facility, but a different feel.
Well, this crowd is very active, and when the students are here, it's something special. Struggling from the perimeter, nothing going, as Ayala can't get that one to go in.
I need Bruno Fernando to take a tough shot. Not a bad shot, but a tough shot. This is a real good job defensively, and this is what Archie Miller talked about today at shoot-around. I need guys coming to help. Just dig. You don't have to completely double team.
Yeah.
But for Fernando, he needs to be aggressive. I need him to take some tough shots.
There's Jalen Smith. Well, he tried too hard to get a foul there. He didn't go up strong, Donnie.
Sometimes that's what you feel first, some body, so you're going to try to get a foul if you can't get a shot up. Yeah. Got to be strong.
Well, he atones for it on the defensive end, coming away with a pilfer.
And a rare turnover for Langford there. He's really secure with the ball, especially for a 19-year-old kid. Has a great feel and understanding of where guys are and values that rock.
Well, in every aspect of life, he belies that of any 19-year-old.
No question.
Beautiful slip that time by Fernando, and an on-time delivery from the man that is going to be delivering the mail to him over and over again, Anthony Cowan. Still an excellent start for the Hoosiers. They lead by 10. And this, with Finney out there, enables Romeo to roam a little bit more.
Yeah.
He knocks down that three-pointer.
Not a great, at least three-point shooting percentage for Langford on the season, but he has good form. Like, it looks good, and I think he has a confidence that goes along with it that helps him. 22% from there, but you got to guard him.
Well, and you know he's got the green light regardless. Jalen Smith can't get it to the goal, and Fernando struggling for it, but they spot a foul underneath. It will go against Indiana. Jawan Morgan will pick up his first.
I think the thing that I would tell my bigs if I was a Maryland teammate, I would say be strong with the ball. You know bodies are coming at you. You know hands are going to be in there. Be strong, play big, play your size. A lot of times, especially for Jalen Smith, you want to bring the ball down, but if you're 6'10", 6'11", why make yourself 6'5" by bringing the ball down? Keep it strong at your chest or under your chin and be ready for those hands to dig that thing out.
Aaron Wiggins in the game, and he triggers it in for the Terps. As Jalen Smith, as well as Eric Ayala, have sat down. Inside work. Wiggins has it knocked away. Cowan clears it. Can't get it to go, and there's Bruno, but he takes the extra step and walks.
Let me just tell you, Romeo Langford guarded two guys there. Yeah. He guarded on ball, made the guy throw a pass to the corner, and then contested Cowan's shot because no red jerseys were around. I mean, that's the activity and that college term stick-to-itiveness that this kid embodies.
Ricky Lindo, speaking of outstanding freshman, in many ways the future of this Maryland program. Just 18 years of age out of Woodrow Wilson Prep. Should be in high school right now. Boy. There's a clear-out foul. It'll go the other way as Langford picks up his first foul.
Well, they called that foul on him, but just watch this defense. Number 0, you're watching in red, does a good job without fouling, and then here doesn't give up on the play, contests a wide-open jump shot from another player. That's just what you get from an awareness, and you know, obviously he's a hard worker. He's very talented as well, but he just understands never give up on a play.
Getting a quick seat before the 12-minute television timeout for an extra break. Tough pass into Fernando, but he corrals it and puts it through.
I'm going to him until he tells me not to. And Mark Turgeon has worked with him the entire season, the offseason, of being a better passer, a more willing passer, not just a guy who throws the ball to a white uniform, but a guy who passes it and gives them an opportunity to do something with it.
On this end, Indiana really sharing the ball beautifully. Evan Fitzner has checked into the game. There's Green, a fall-away Jay. He gets it to go. Well, they are really sharing the wealth. 6 field goals by 5 different guys. 5 assists by 5 different guys.
Yeah, anytime you can get a bucket from someone not named Morgan or Langford, that's a bonus for Indiana.
By the way, keep an eye now, not just on Lindo, but Sorrell Smith, who made that pass into Bruno a few moments ago. He can also help this team tremendously. There it is. As Sorrell Smith just into the game and just into your scoring column.
Yeah, he can knock it down. He dealt with some ankle injuries earlier in the season. Looks to be feeling pretty good now, but those wide open shots, these guards from Maryland will knock them down. They just have to have better spacing to get those open shots.
Morgan gets it back. It was a perfect entry from Green. Outnumbered, and he can't get it down. Out of bounds to Maryland. You got to find your teammate. Drop a dime. Sorrell distributing it beautifully to Romeo. And then on the other end, Sorrell Smith is heard from right away.
The NFC
Glove run and have set sail since, leading by 10. Monday night, Big Ten College Hoops double dip. It tips off on FS1 first. Nebraska meets these Hoosiers at 6 p.m. Eastern. Then Donnie and I will return with Wisconsin coming to College Park to take on the Terrapins at 8:30. Catch all the action on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. When you look at the net rankings, net standing for NCAA evaluation tool, in effect replacing the RPI, there are 9 teams, count them, 9 in the top 40. And even more than that in the top 60.
I thought you were going to say 9 different ranking tools.
Yeah.
Because they're really...
I mean, there are 11 teams in the top 60.
Yeah.
So even those teams, if you're in the top 40, you got to feel pretty good.
Yeah.
I know Howie Schwab, our resident guru, believes that 10 teams right now, if the tournament selection committee were underway, would make it into the NCAAs out of this league.
I mean, I think there's no question. This, to me, is the toughest conference in America from top to bottom.
Yeah, I would agree.
Without question. Every single night. I know we hear it from a lot of conferences,
right,
but any given night, you can lose a game in this conference.
It's not as top-heavy, perhaps, as the ACC.
No, right.
And we can make a case of depth in the SEC as well this season. But without question, from top to the very bottom, I concur.
I mean, there's a great balance in the Big East.
Without a doubt.
Well, that's 10 teams.
Yeah.
So
I think the Big East may get as many teams in the tournament this year as they did last year. Just no one in the top 3 seeds.
Correct.
More than likely, the best team would be a 4 seed, at least right now. Nice move by Smith. Everything but the finish. And the rebound cleared to the Hoosiers.
And just to be clear, this time of year, at least right now, Michigan and Michigan State they're in a different league right now. But again, they're still thinking about when they have to go to Indiana, to Bloomington to play. It's on their mind when they have to come to Maryland to play. There are some really good teams that know how to play you.
Boy, Juwan Morgan is just doing what he wants right now when he gets the ball on the block. Zach McRoberts also has checked into the game. The one-time original walk-on and transfer from Vermont. He's been playing through a lot of injuries. He's a tough kid. Strong on the defensive end, too. Dalen Smith unable to corral it, but a foul spotted underneath by the veteran official, Bo Borowski. It goes against Evan Fitzner.
Juwan Morgan doing his work early, slow, and then kind of comes off that screen. I love that elbow area, taking his time, taking advantage of the younger Smith there, and the slight body. You know, they call him sticks. He's built like a blade of grass, Jalen Smith. And he has a nice little outside game offensively, but defensively he's got a long way to go.
Boy, I think there was a little slippage there for Sorrell Smith. They're going to have to clean up some perspiration down there along the baseline area. Mark Turgeon's team really struggling on the offensive end. They're as cold now as they were hot in the last 8 minutes at Minnesota the other night.
Well, they had 6 offensive rebounds. They just can't convert any of those. I mean, that's an issue. 0 second chance points. But he's got to like the effort they're giving on the offensive glass.
A quick shot does not fall for Deron Davis. Just got into the game. Here's Ayala forcing it up. Well, I think he knew right away that he was going to take it relentlessly to the 10. His first bucket, and it's 21-11.
That's a terrific individual play, just not going to get it done all night.
Did you see that pick? Robert set a huge pick, and there was absolutely no way that that would be defended. Wiggins with the dump down to Jalen Smith.
Yeah, this is a part of his game he's got to work on. It's a great double team there, though.
He took steps.
Yeah.
Tried to go with a crossover step.
Hey, this is just great offensive basketball right here for Indiana.
Oh.
You'll feel that one, I think, tomorrow, but your teammates got to yell it out. Back pick coming.
That pick would have made Bobby Knight proud. Is sponsored by Jeep Grand Cherokee. At the Xfinity Center here in College Park, Maryland. A 12-point lead for the Hoosiers. Let's take another look at this big-time pick.
I'm going to use my invisible telestrator here. Top of the key there. Evan Fitzner with a great back pick, legal. And just when you think offensively, Maryland shooting 26%, things couldn't go any worse. Defensively, they're giving up 64% to Indiana. Field goal wise, and something's got to give here. I think defensively, if you get stops, that'll set you up offensively if you're Maryland, but you can't try to go down and get your game going by playing one-on-one basketball together. It's got to start at the defensive end for Turgeon's guys.
Got to give Archie Miller's defensive execution a lot of praise because they're not allowing those easy entry passes that we saw Maryland have in the second half of that game with Minnesota. They were getting anything that they wanted to Bruno in that game, and now beautiful scoop to the hoop, just making it look easy. Romeo Langford, the freshman from New Albany, Indiana.
I talked to a couple of scouts before the game, and 3 to be exact, and 2 of them said, you know, he's one of those positionless players. We love that because we can make him into what we want. Another scout told me they see him as a 2-guard and even playing the small forward position, so it's awesome to have the ability to play different positions.
Oh, Ayala puts that one down from 3-point range from the seat of his pants. And it's 25-14, a much-needed 3-ball for the Terrapins. They have struggled from beyond the arc here at the outset, just 2 out of 7. There he is again. That is some maneuver, and he made it look so easy.
I mean, at the other end, obviously, he does the job defensively. And on the offensive end, he takes his time, Romeo Langford. If there is a better finisher at the rim in America, not just a freshman, but anywhere, please tweet it to Timmy Brando. I'm not a social media guy, but this kid, he just finishes. He's one of the best finishers I've seen in a long, and especially for a freshman.
Yeah.
Could be the best ever, honestly. I mean, I know there's a lot of players that have come through this game, but boy, he is so special around the basket.
He really is. And his demeanor, unchanged. I mean, unfazed. Yeah. He's one of those guys that you hate to play against because you're sweating like mad. He barely breaks a sweat, beats you down the floor, and has every move available. There's a foul on the loose ball situation. And it will go against the Terrapins. Morcell will pick it up.
The defense has been terrific, not just on the double team coming from the high side, the top of the key when the bigs catch it down low. Archie Miller's guys have changed it up. They've come around the baseline, and then on the perimeter, guys are playing defense with their feet, meaning they're not reaching in and picking up silly fouls. They're getting in front of guys, squaring them up, coming up with steals.
Tennessee operating at the point. Has Langford out there with him. We mentioned Zach McRoberts is on the floor. Justin Smith and Juwan Morgan. Those are the 5 on the deck for Indiana. Cowan, Smith, Bruno Fernando, Morcell, and Ayala, the 5 on the deck for the Terps. Ball was deflected beautifully there by Smith. Clock winding down. Morgan pulled down by Smith and a quick outlet looking for numbers. Great defensive adjustment by Indiana.
I mean, that's where Maryland had to go. You had the ball out, it was kicked out. Try to pick up an easy basket. I call that mindless basketball, and that's what keeps you back in the games.
The floor is balanced when you're playing against Archie Miller's team, isn't it? Ayala lost his dribble.
Boy. And this is what I'm talking about, Timmy. When Bruno Fernando catches that ball down low, Morgan has it, but that double comes from the top. He's always seeing someone there, and they don't stay. I would say to Fernando, catch the ball, hold it, just 1 or 2 clicks, and see if the double team stays. Because that double team is running at you just so you see them, and then getting out of there, then you can go to work one-on-one.
Maryland has more turnovers than they have field goals. 7 turnovers to 6 field goals made. As we say that, the Hoosiers turn it over themselves.
I like that Romeo Langford pointed at himself talking to Juwan Moore. My fault. That's my bad. Man, that's just great recognition. Again, a 19-year-old kid understanding what's important, and at that point as a leader, you say it's on me.
Yeah. Maryland has just been disrupted all night by this Indiana defense. That's a strong move. They're going to need more of that from Anthony Cowan.
But you called it earlier. They are working so hard in Maryland, to get a basket, whereas Indiana, their offense is free-flowing. The spacing is terrific. They're sharing the ball.
Well, again, I'm thinking there might be some perspiration. They're going to call a foul on Morcell. Daryl Morcell gets it a second. But I think there was some serious slippage there for Romeo Langford as he tried to drive the baseline.
I agree, and Romeo Langford's a different player going left. Not that he can't go left, he's just not as powerful going left as he is right. But I don't know how. There was some contact there. He did maybe slip, but there was some contact there on the dribble.
Smith, that's a tough shot. That's good defense by Maryland. Here comes Ayala, linked to the floor. Oh, Jalen Smith wanted something dynamic to happen. He could have just softly put the thing right in the cylinder. That's one that got away. Langford unable to get it. That was the one time they got numbers.
I think as good as Romeo is, maybe not quite ready for that pull-up from that deep.
This is where something good's got to happen for Maryland. You wanted this a lot earlier. Look how they've disrupted it. It is.
Boy, way to stand him up.
Cowan. These are tough shots he's making.
Well, that's what he does, though, and he's going to have to because of the defense being played down low. And when he catches the ball, he's got to go quick. You can't hold it for 1 or 2 clicks and wait for the defense to square up. Cowan has to go as soon as that ball is swung out to him.
Langford dribbled that one off his shin. It'll go the other way. It's been a consistent 9 to 10 point lead for the Cream and Crimson of Indiana. Archie Miller's preaching D, and they're listening.
I hear it in the background. She's watching.
A lot of defense will be played in the next game. We've got plenty of it in this one. Indiana 5 empty trips, 0 for 3 from the floor, and a couple of turnovers.
Yeah, Maryland they're struggling, but it's not just because they're missing shots. The defense is right there. They're where they're supposed to be. And this is what Archie Miller drilled them all day at shoot-around, really for most of the shoot-around this morning. And it's one thing to tell your players this is what we need to do, but to see them go out there and finish it off is impressive. And there you see the numbers every season. And that's points allowed per 100 possessions. Right now, they're ranked 30th. I mean, so add that in with a couple of guys in Langford and Morgan who can score the ball. Boy, this team's only going to get better. Remember the injuries and all that. They're still fighting and doing it defensively.
One of the deficiencies with this Maryland team is turning the ball over. They have 14.4 assists per game, but 13.3 turnovers per game. And right now, Indiana is showing you why those issues exist, because their ball pressure along the perimeter has been so good. And Juwan Morgan picks up a second foul with 3:22 to play, and that'll force Deron Davis back into the game. And we likely won't see Juwan for the remainder of this first half.
It's important right now, this last 3 minutes and 20 seconds or so, for Maryland to try to start playing downhill. They have taken 0 free throws in this game so far. Oh, good defense, but you can't go an entire half basically and not shoot 1 free throw with 2 of the better bigs in the country.
A little brother there that does not fall for Devontae Green. And a quick output. Fernando gets it to Cowan.
Hey, look at this front line, Timmy. You haven't taken 1 free throw.
And oh, by the way, they induced the foul from Devontae Green. You know, Cowan's the only one that's had any confidence on the offensive end. And to this point, Donnie, every one of his shots have been highly contested.
When that ball is being swung, a lot of times the other guards for Maryland are catching it and holding it just a little bit too long. When the ball goes down low and it's a skip pass, or even if it's thrown right back up to the same side and swung, the defense is transitioning to get in front of it. You got to catch it and go, especially a guy as quick as Cowan Jr. is. And, you know, his favorite player is Isaiah Thomas, the modern-day Isaiah Thomas.
Right.
And that Isaiah Thomas is not allowing you to set up your defense. He's catching you when you're shifting defensively or pushing that ball in transition.
You know,
so and now he's got to do his best Isaiah Thomas impersonation.
You know, it says a lot, too, about Indiana's defense and how disciplined it's been. That was their first 1-and-1. That was only the 7th team foul committed by the Hoosiers. And when you think about all that ball pressure we've seen and talked about in the backcourt, that says a lot.
Yeah. Attention to detail, obviously, and being efficient defensively and no silly fouls.
Indiana with a scoring drought of 4+ minutes, but they still cling to a 9-point lead. Out of bounds, last touch by Maryland. As they say, defense travels, and when you go through a scoring drought, you can maintain control of a game if your defense is good, and it has been outstanding tonight for the guys from Bloomington. Alley-oop and a slam. Oh, hammer time. Justin Smith with a magnificent flush. Wow, that was nasty.
Oh, to be young again.
Jalen Smith not there from the wing. Here's Romeo. Langford, little Euro, this time off the heel. And a foul. The end result, Justin Smith lost his balance. And he fouled Bruno. That's the second on Justin Smith.
Look at the right side of your screen. All you got to do, out of bounds underplays. I love when they go the way you want. Player, he points up, goes up, perfect pass, catches it. And that's a testament to Archie Miller and his staff of running those NBA out of bounds plays. I mean, that's an NBA out of bounds play. You get caught on the screen and good pass and finish.
Bruno Fernando with 5 rebounds, only 4 points. You can make a case, though, that he's halfway to a double-double with 5 and 5 now. You look at the Big Ten rankings for Bruno, and he's leading in blocks, field goal percentage, rebounds, he's third, double-doubles, he's right there. You have not seen the best from him because Indiana's not allowing it.
Yeah, sweet stroke right there on those free throws, though.
Still a 9-point lead. Indiana with a 9-0 run in the first 3.5 minutes, and they've not looked back. That was a good cut, but a blind pass, and Fitzner had his back to it. Bruno! He looks marvelous. Fernando looks marvelous. He ran the floor that time, and it's a 9-2 run for Maryland.
Archie Miller trying to quiet this crowd down immediately. I think Fitzner just wasn't ready for the pass.
Yeah.
That's when you got to have some eye contact there, and then better eye contact from Maryland. Fernando running the floor. Just take a listen. I love that sound. And look at him, he's trying to get his team fired up. And as bad as they have played, shooting 32% from the field, they're only down 7, Timmy. And this is what you want. You go to the foul line, it gives you an opportunity to score with that clock stopped and to eat into that lead heading into halftime.
His improvement from a season ago is magnificent. And again, you're well served when you listen to others. Sometimes players don't always tune into their coaches, but when they hear it elsewhere, then they understand what they've got to work on. And he is a clear-cut example. As I mentioned, Nick Ward at Michigan State is another. Indiana, in the last 4 minutes, 1 field goal and 3 turnovers. The lead is down to 7. Little runner again goes crying off the front iron for Devontae Green. Cowan. Oh! Everything but the finish. Just a little too much French pastry on the leather.
Well, this is what we're talking about the hesitation, not holding on to the ball in one spot. He did a great job of seeing what the defense was trying to do. No one caught up to him because he kept it going downhill. Another opportunity to score with that clock stopped.
Interesting how the tenor in this building changed after Bruno ran the floor, got the easy one. It just sort of picked up the decibel level in this building.
Look, you know he's going to finish strong. He's a big boy, but to be able to catch that ball without traveling at that position, it tells you a little bit about Bruno Fernando's athleticism.
You know, as poorly as Maryland has looked on the offensive end of the floor, Donnie, if they could get to halftime with a score, a 6-point deficit, I think they'd be thrilled. I mean, Indiana's controlled this game. Morgan gets the roll, 32-24. To watch this game, you'd think they would be down 12 to 15 points.
That's Indiana going through their own little scoring drought. That's the problem that allowed Maryland to get back into it.
Ayala, nothing but nylon. It's down to 5. 8 in the game for Eric Ayala. He and Anthony Cowan have carried the Terrapins. What point production they've gotten, it's come from their backcourt. Langford leaves it for Durham. He rattles it home. Sophomore from Lilburn, Georgia.
All set up by Romeo Langford, though, keeping the dribble alive, drawing 2 guys and finding the teammate.
Shot clock off, they'll hold it for 1. Will initiate. All the way to the rack, and he's rejected by Morgan. At the buzzer, it goes crying for Aaron Wiggins, and we're at halftime. A late run, but to this point, control of this game is from Archie Miller's defense as they lead by 8, 35-27. We'll send you to Rob Stone in Los Angeles for the Jeep halftime report. He'll have all those hams with him in the studio, not the ham bone that he covers in bowling. All that coming up right after this. You're watching the Big Ten on Fox Sports 1. Welcome you back. At halftime, 35-27 our score. Indiana is on the road and things are going beautifully, as they are for Jalen Hurts. In the role of free agent, Mike Locksley, former offensive coordinator at Alabama, taking over now at Maryland. And as a grad transfer, Jalen Hurts is taking a look at Maryland, as well as a number of other opportunities that may be in waiting. But it's certainly got a lot of fans juiced here in College Park. What he witnessed and we witnessed in the first half, as you look at our Jeep Grand Cherokee halftime stats, really in a lot of ways, domination defensively by this Indiana team, Donnie.
Well, the first 14 minutes of the game, Maryland scored a point a minute. And then the last 5, they had 13 minutes. They got to the free throw line. A much better job of being more aggressive. but I would continue to go to Bruno Fernando. That's going to open up so much. It's a simple game. Throw it inside. If they double, just be quick with the pass out, and you'll have those open jump shots or those rip throughs and then drives to the basket. And then defensively, Indiana just needs more of the same. They went through a little spell there where they didn't score Indiana.
Yep.
I think it was too easy early on, and they might have taken it for granted down the stretch. They need to continue to keep their heads down and get that ball to the rim.
Well, you see what Cowan and Fernando have combined for. On the flip side, Romeo Langford and Jawan Morgan have collaborated on 14 for 6 as well. That's a little bit of a wash. One thing to notice about Maryland, and this was true in the Minnesota game, it's been true really in the last 4 games that they've won.
Yep.
Slow starts. They have been much more effective offensively as the game wears on. We'll see if that is a continued theme here in the second. Beautiful slip to open, and the pass inside from Romeo to Jawan. And Jawan Morgan knew what to do with it, using the glass, and they're up by 10. Well designed right out of the gate.
So good.
Yeah, really was. There's the dump down to Bruno Fernando.
There's the dig from the top, just give him a feel and off balance. Look, you're going to have to work for it. That's a tough shot. I think Jawan Morgan will live with those if they're all off balance the rest of the night for Fernando.
It's pretty clear, though, isn't it, that Archie Miller has decided not to double because Fernando's such a good passer. He's not enabling that. There's a steal from Cowan. Ayala's wide open off the front rim. And a frustration foul by Aaron in the aftermath of it. That's his first personal foul.
Such a great play out of half. You pull both bigs away from the basket. Look at this. Fernando's helping. Smith just can't get down there. That is a great slip, great pass. Just that's the way you want to start the half when you had sputtered a little bit if you're Indiana at the end of the first half.
3 assists on the night for Romeo Langford. As good a distributor as he is a scorer. Complete player. Morgan on the wing to Green. And blocking out beautifully that time was Jalen Smith, and the foul committed by Justin Smith of Indiana. You know, we opened this game by my saying that 2 upstart teams. You think of Maryland and its great tradition, a national championship under Gary Williams. Not that long ago for a number of people. And, of course, Indiana with all of its steep tradition in the Big Ten. But it's true, this year, neither of these teams expected to be looking this good this early. And a win by Maryland likely to get them in the top 25. And Indiana being number 22 right now, a bit of a surprise.
Anytime you have that youth movement that comes in and you're relying on your young guys, there is a little... You are worried a little bit if you're the coach in the Big Ten.
The bank is open late in College Park for Cowan. I think he meant to use the window. He's got 10.
Well, he got hit, and anytime you get hit, always try to finish high, get that ball a chance to go in.
Well, you do know a thing or two about scoring. We know that. Devontae Green in traffic. Excellent defense that time by Maryland. Marcel, yes! Here come the Terrapins. Here comes the crowd. Forcing Archie Miller to call a timeout. And it all started with Maryland's defense to offense.
Yeah, we talked about in the first half, the way to get your offense going is by starting it with your defense. And this I call mindless basketball. Darryl Marcel, young fella out of Baltimore, Mount St. Joseph, and Archie Miller. He knows, man, every possession this time of year is so very important. Those easy baskets they're killers, but he still has a little bit of a lead. I'm sure this guy's made that adjustment. We'll see.
You see that staff, Tom Ostrom, that's chilling. Bruiser Flint, former head coach, as you well know, part of the Indiana wisdom that they have along that sideline. Fitzner, checked by Jalen Smith. Nice post-up maneuver, but can't get it to go. Morgan with a beautiful offensive rebound and a recycle for the Hoosiers. Durham. And the rebound cleared by Fernando. Maryland's 6-0 run with all those points, Donnie, coming in the paint. They look to go inside again. The Sticks straight up, says Fitzner, but they're going to get the whistle regardless. The foul this time will go against Devontae Green as he reached in. So Fitzner was not the guilty party. Jalen Smith, that man that's got so much upside, coming off a 21-point performance on 7 of 10 shooting in that game against Minnesota. Here are 3 things you need to know. Think he can cover the court, right? Baseline to baseline in tennis. And, of course, 2-time Maryland High School Player of the Year. He earned it. Can you imagine him, though, in a serve and volley game?
How about the nickname, though, Sticks?
Yeah.
Skinny legs.
Has nothing to do with the rock group.
No.
I'm dating myself, I know, but had to go there. That Sticks with an I, not a Y. Inside, Fitzner rejected. Bruno got a hold of that one. On the wing, Ayala.
And he can do that. He's missed a couple wide open ones this half.
Here comes Langford. He's got another gear. Little dribble handoff to Juwan Morgan. That was quick. Ayala comes down with a rebound off the deck, and here's Cowan the other way. Beautiful dime drop, and the flush from Fernando. Cowan with a beautiful pass to make it a 10-0 run.
Well, that's why Cowan has to play. You have to play downhill and not allow the defense to get set.
There's Langford with a wide open 3. Halfway down the cylinder and out, and Fernando collects yet another rebound, and this 10-0 run continues. Indiana is 0 for its last 8. They had a 4.5-minute drought in the first half that really kept Maryland in it. Cowan, count it! No timeout this time. Archie wants him to play through it. This is the first lead for Maryland tonight. Fitzner. Well, you got 9 shooters taking shots now for Indiana.
That's the guy you want wide open, though, at almost 42%.
Marcel puts it down. You're right. He's a good percentage three-point shooter.
Yeah.
But he hasn't taken any tonight.
You're absolutely right.
This is now a 16-0 run.
And on the other side, Daryl Morcell's a 17% three-point shooter. So that tells you a couple things. Momentum means so much. 16-0 run, and this is how important Bruno Fernando is to his Terps. Defensively, you go inside, the help defense, get that out of here, but he's not done, folks. Cowan finding the big fella. Maryland has shown up in the second half.
Monday on
This weekend on Fox, 2 huge matchups in the NFC Divisional Playoffs. Tomorrow, Ezekiel Elliott and the Cowboys take on Todd Gurley and the Rams. Then Sunday, Nick Foles, a Super Bowl MVP, and the Eagles travel to New Orleans to battle Drew Brees, a Super Bowl MVP in 2009. And the Saints, you can catch it all on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Fear the Turtle. The home folks in Maryland with something to cheer about, including tonight, Donnie. Maryland is plus 46 points in the second half. Last 5 games, plus 46. And there's an answer. Off the glass and off the rim, Juwan Morgan gets a much-needed bucket for Indiana.
Yeah, they were 0 for 9 before that basket there, Indiana, to start this half. But we talked about what Maryland did in the first half. 14 points in the first 14 minutes. They got 16 in the first 4 of this half.
And that's going to be a reach-in foul, that would appear, as Bruno Fernando is quicker to the loose ball opportunities. Here's an example of the second half.
Yeah, downhill by Cowan. Don't allow the defense to get set up, and then there's just too much airspace right there when a guy has already made a couple of shots. Spacing much better for Maryland this half. They're also making some shots. Ayala's missed a couple of wide open ones as well, so the airspace is definitely there. Indiana has to close it down, though, to really stop the bleeding here.
Yeah, and the Terrapins' ball movement much better. Again, on a reach-in, Justin Smith will be tagged with a foul.
And a different defense being played by Indiana. More with the hands, the slaps. There's some tic-tac fouls going on because they're easy to call versus the first half when they were moving their feet, getting their bodies in the way.
And Justin Smith forced to sit with 4 fouls. Evan Fitzner, the redshirt senior from San Diego, checks back in. And this man is getting an opportunity to post up a little bit more in this half than he did in the first. He's such an outstanding passer, too. Ayala, a fadeaway that won't go. And it looks like a foul on the offensive end. This time it is going to be Fernando that picks up the first with the push. Bruno in the back with a slight push, and he's tagged with number 2. He'll sit down in favor of Aaron Wiggins. And Rob Finnessy will also come back onto the floor for Indiana.
Eric Ayala's missed a couple of shots. The young fella's got to keep his head. He's going to go to the bench now, but he's getting good shots. Just got to keep your confidence. Your team's going to need you from that perimeter.
Sorrell Smith also getting some playing time now for Maryland. He's checking off the ball. Zach McRoberts. Good crossover step baseline and a follow by Juwan Morgan.
He's so good with that quick jump after he misses one and tries to go back up for the offensive rebound. Soft touch with one hand to tap that back in.
Skill set on these young players on both teams, Donnie, really something to enjoy. Right there's a pretty good example from Wiggins. Dribbling through the double team. Lindo can't get the slam to go. We haven't seen the best of him. Cowan can't connect. There's Sticks underneath. Over some Hoosiers. Trying to stay with it, out of bounds. And it belongs to Indiana. That was a Hoosier wall that would not allow Jalen Smith an opportunity for a putback.
He dodged a couple bullets there. Cowan wide open. He's got it going a little bit better in the second half.
It is hard to get second chance points in this game.
Maryland has 13 offensive rebounds as well.
That's going to be a foul against Jalen Smith.
That's what I like about your upperclassmen. They just know the game, the spacing. He's telling his partner right here, get out of the way. Get out of here. I'm going to work. And then now the defense looks that way to see who he's talking to. Spin baseline. Get the putback after you missed the first one.
It's interesting. A lot of talk around the country about this young Indiana team. Well, guess what? Maryland's younger.
Yeah.
They're really younger. 4 influential freshmen in this class. Boy, nothing for Langford on what was a beautiful drive. Just couldn't get it to go. Cowan! And the follow by Fernando. Well, he did a nice job, Donnie, of not committing basket interference there. He could have gotten inside the cylinder. He was patient to tip that one through.
But it was set up by Cowan. Downhill. Anthony Cowan Jr. understands. Be fast. Even if you don't make it, your bigs are following for tip-ins.
Cowan got the foul, his second. You notice there, Fernando just got that quick palm in there to tip it in. He wanted to make sure that he wasn't overly dramatic and get his hand inside that cylinder. Those were the first second chance points for Maryland, by the way.
Incredible. 14th offensive rebound.
Amazing. 8 minutes gone by in the second. Tim Brando, Donnie Marshall here on FS1. First of 2 tonight from the mighty Big Ten. Durham with the clock winding down.
That's the one guy, when that ball swings and it's a dribble handoff, you better close that gap.
Yeah, given name Aljami, we'll just call him Al. And after that shot, Indiana fans can call him whatever they like.
I love watching him elevate. That form is so perfect. Every shot he shoots looks like it's going in, even if it doesn't.
45-44. Keep waiting for Lindo to have his moment. This is an outstanding young player. Gives it up to Cowan. Pretty good idea. Freshman with a beautiful find to get it right into the upperclassman's hands. 48-44.
I would say that's a moment. Even though you want to see him dunk the ball or finish, that's a great heads-up play. Get it to your leader and let him knock it down.
Woodrow Wilson High School.
And now those bunnies that Maryland was missing, maybe this court is tilted. Maybe they're playing uphill at this basket to our right.
Cowan! Indiana had a lane. He went right through it. No stop sign.
There's a lid on it a little bit when Indiana gets into the paint close to the rim. That was the same thing that Maryland went through in the first half.
That's going to be a moving pick. That one goes against Durham. You got to get set. Point of emphasis in college basketball. Well, Anthony Cowan's been dynamite in second halves. Just ask Richard Pitino. This looks like a mirror image of what happened the other night. They lead by 6. Let's go inside the huddle of Archie Miller.
Dallas, you conceded on defense right now. You've conceded on defense. Every time we whittle it back down, he just takes the ball and just blasts to the paint. Let's go, man. Get it under control.
He's right, but at some point, you got to think, well, coach, he's pretty darn good. We're trying, but, you know, the defense has definitely shifted from what Indiana did in the first half.
No question.
And maybe you can say the offense is better for Maryland, but you said it. Defense travels, and the defense, the attention to detail defensively this half for Indiana just has not been there. Now, there's plenty of time. But now Maryland's confidence is picked up.
Well, Archie Miller knows. Cowan's outscored his own team.
Yeah.
He's got 10 to their 9 in the second half. Smith not there. Fernando with an athletic rebound and putback. Up and over and right through the nylon.
And again, that's the attention to detail. When that ball goes up, you got to find Bruno and box him out, push him back at least 2 feet away, and he doesn't get that offensive rebound.
Green with a runner inside the lane, and there is contact. And Bo Borowski spots the foul. It'll go against Anthony Cowan. That's number 3 on him, so they'll have to go to the bench very quickly. You don't want to lose Cowan for too long, but you have way too much time to keep him out there, one would suspect. And Eric Ayala quickly to the scores table will await to come in after the free throw. Green, a junior from North Babylon, New York. Had 9 points on Sunday in the game against Michigan for Indiana. Boy, how good is that Michigan team? Saw them again last night on FS1 against a very hungry Illinois club. Talk about defense traveling. John Beilein, known for offense throughout his career at West Virginia and at Michigan. Arguably the best defense we've seen come down the pike in this league in some time.
It's a credit to how great of a coach he is to be able to make the transition and change with the times or change with the players you're recruiting and not just be a three-point shooting team.
Oh, yeah. Give and go, Fernando. 54-46. The lead is 8 for Maryland. They trailed by that number at the break. They flipped the script in the second half. Deflected by Ayala. It is saved by Devontae Green. Langford really needs to start thinking about taking over. And there's a reach-in foul. Bruno Fernando this half, Donnie, 10 points, 8 rebounds. Well, and he had a suspect first half, and he was about halfway there, about 5 and 5. He has really flexed his muscles here in the second.
They've done a great job in just making adjustments. Maryland's offense was devoid of any coherent strategy to start the game, and now they get into halftime, they relax a little, they talk about it. Shows you how important going into that locker room is to kind of gather yourself. Maryland has really come out at both ends of the floor and played a totally different game than the first half.
You know, this young man is just incredible. The Big Ten is going to be doing a Big Ten Network, our friends and colleagues there, on the journey this coming Sunday night at 10 o'clock Eastern time His parents, Tim and Sabrina, have got to be so proud. This young man has a playground named after him in New Albany, Indiana.
19 years old, man.
19 years old, and he has stayed for as long as 2 hours after high school games to sign autographs. You'll see all of that on The Journey on the Big Ten Network this Sunday night at 10. You know, you start thinking about the youth of America and this job partner. So often I come away feeling so much better about where our country's headed, as opposed to what others may feel because of the young men we see in intercollegiate athletics.
You got to give his parents a ton of credit. I don't think they get enough. You know, the way he carries himself, the way he's a leader already at a young age, and he understands his responsibility in the public eye.
Up against the clock, and he picks up a late foul on a three-point shot. Just as we were issuing so much praise, he made a freshman mistake there. His second. There are some images from that feature. By the way, his father handles a forklift in New Albany. But I think it's love of city, love of community to go along with his incredible game. And it smacks, really, I think, when I hear about 2 hours signing autographs after, I think in the current world, I think of LeBron in Akron. And going back, I think of Pistol Pete Maravich at LSU, who was a rock star as a freshman way back in the 60s and early 70s. There you see him. And there's the park itself, the court named Romeo Langford after him.
He understands his responsibility, Tim. That you don't get from kids even 4 years into college.
Yeah, absolutely.
So again, so much credit to his parents, Tim and Sabrina. Just a special family, special kid.
No doubt. They need him right now, too. They're going to cut into this lead.
Look at that finish.
That's just unreal. And again, the effortless nature, Donnie, is the thing that strikes me.
And no celebration afterwards. Right. You know, act like you've been there, because he has scored over 3,000 points in high school. So he scored a lot of buckets and big buckets.
He said his dad taught him that. And I think he taught him a lot. Wiggins off the bounce. Loose ball, comes back to Wiggins. Oh, why not? Get it back and launch.
As a shooter, you know where to be. Away from all the action, because the ball will find you.
Mistakes will find you, and the ball will find you on occasion. Langford, little stop and go, and he draws contact and a foul. 7:31 remaining. Pivotal game, yes, even this early in January. 59-50 Terrapins. These are the Turgeonites. Yeah, sometimes, Donnie, you just have to know your role. Choreography notwithstanding. Let's hear from the real Mark Turgeon inside his huddle.
We got to play without fouling, and 5 guys got to rebound the ball. Everybody got me? 5, we got to play without fouling, okay? And 5 guys got to rebound the ball. And then down here, we got to be great. We got to move the ball, make them guard us, okay? If there's 10 on the clock, don't panic. Just keep running our stuff.
You're plus 16 on the glass, and it's worked this half. You might as well keep it going if you're Maryland. And the momentum obviously has shifted. The crowd is into it. Everything's going the right way. Indiana has got to figure out this last 7.5 minutes how they can get back to what they were doing in the first half.
Another double-double for Bruno Fernando. 17 straight winning seasons for Mark. 19 wins a year ago, but it ended, of course, not the way they wanted, with a fouled up, a botched inbounds play in the Big Ten tournament cost them an opportunity at a 4th straight trip to the NCAAs. And there's a recruiting class, in a lot of ways, I think the edge, too, for a team that knows it should have gone further than it did a season ago, I think has inspired this club this season. Langford gets both. 59-52. 7.5 left. Langford, by the way, the last 6 points for Indiana.
Well, you said he needed to step up for his team, and maybe he heard you.
You know, they shade just a little, but they don't double, and he's feeling it now.
They're not digging down, meaning they're not showing themselves on the help defense as much as they did in the first half, Indiana. They've gotten away from it. Now to his credit, Fernando has understood and he's read it better.
He's figured it out.
Yep. He knows it's not a full double, so he just has more patience.
Nice move inside by Juwan Morgan. You talk about a guy that's consistently gotten better, a college player that every year from his freshman year forward has improved.
6'7" on 6'11", making it look easy.
Fernando, by the way, 6 of 6 from the floor this half. Already the double-double. Now a quick double comes.
That's better defense. You push the ball out further.
But you see what he did? He passed, and it leads to this. Count it, and a foul.
Well, once you pushed Fernando out to the three-point line, now you got to retreat back. It's exactly what Archie Miller told his guys today. When you get him to the three-point line, we're good. You know, it was a terrific pass, but what happens is you rotate too late because you stay in that double team a little too long, and it puts pressure on the backside defensively.
It becomes almost a pick your poison for Indiana.
You're chasing a guy down who's playing downhill.
Now the lead back up to 10. Langford on a blow-by.
Kid can finish, man. I mean, that's just something that's so hard to teach. That's instinct. That's a gift. And you can do as many layup drills as you want. Put whatever, you know, guys under there with pads and brooms trying to swing at you. That's a gift. That's hard to teach right there.
64 to 56. Shot clock down to 8. Cowan with a quick pump. Bruno again, almost, you'd think he'd have to commit a foul, but he's so athletic, he did not. He just, on the tap out, could not convert, and Indiana brings it back the other way. Justin Smith, baseline extended.
It's a good job by Durham, though, turning that corner and not trying to challenge two white jerseys, finding a wide open teammate on that short corner.
I believe the officials were just concerned maybe about perspiration. I think that may have been it. No timeout. I just think they wanted to make sure that the floor had been handled. Okay. A little something going on, says behind the bench, Bo Borowski. And I'm guessing maybe a little moisture was on the floor.
It was behind the bench. Yeah. There was a whistle behind the bench.
Which, by the way, happens a lot here. A lot of vociferous alumni here at Maryland, even with the students out. Cowan with under 10 on the shot clock. Too strong. Smith can't gather it in, but there's a little help from Wiggins. And a recycle for Maryland.
And another offensive rebound as well. 17 to be exact for Maryland. 17 offensive rebounds. 17 extra chances.
To 8 for Indiana. They're leading in that category by 9. Ayala backing in. Stays with it. Finally ripped away by Devontae Green.
Poor kid can't buy one right now.
Durham. Now that would have cut it down to 3, but he could not get it to fall. Remember in the first half we were talking about how hard Maryland had to work to get a shot. Now it's Indiana that's having to work. Smith in traffic. Well, he wanted a whistle, and so did his coach.
Got to be strong, though. Big Ten basketball, man.
Green off the bounce. Well, that was a little quick, wasn't it?
I think he was looking for some contact there. He was open for a split second, but in this part of the game, I think you got to go downstairs to your stud, Morgan.
Yeah.
Fifth of the season, his second made. Wow.
That That made Alba sing Fernando. 67-58.
Romeo Langford answers, though. Back down. Composed. Indiana's got to find this last 3 minutes what they had in the first half defensively.
Bruno Fernando is 10 of 11 from the floor, 7 of 7 this half, including a banker. There he is again. You know where it's going. You know where it's going. Timeout. They're on their feet in College Park.
The crowd is loving it. The big fella. Only his second three of the year. I think he called it. It's so loud in here right now, I'm not sure. His teammates are loving it. Fernando, Maryland, up 9.
Monday on FS1.
Second game, and Wisconsin, by the way, also 3-1, and will be coming in here on Monday. Donnie and I will be here for that one. As you look at the Big Ten standings, Michigan at the top with Michigan State, and Maryland and Indiana are right there, along with the Badgers, who are back after a year of so many injuries. Our game reset, sponsored by SoFi. Get your money right. See the possession error on a time ball. Let's go to the Terrapins.
Last 2:45, there's got to be a sense of urgency. And right now is the best time to be the most efficient you've been all night for Indiana. Can't use a lot of that clock, though, Timmy. Got to imagine Maryland will sit on it once they get the ball back a little bit.
Yeah, and when Langford gets it, he needs to be selfish. Like that.
Cannot tell me that's a 22% three-point shooter, especially the way he eyed it up, let it go, and held the follow-through.
You know, your stars, the freshman from New Albany, Indiana, your stars need to know when it's their time. It's his time. In traffic, Ayala got Zach McRoberts airborne, and he's still on the deck, shaking out some cobwebs there. That's the first on Zach McRoberts.
That's a tough one, especially for McRoberts, who's been really dealing with some back issues this season. You know, his medical staff and coaches are like, eh.
Yeah.
And then you said it, your star needs to go to work. I think what impressed me most about that, Romeo Langford, is he's learned how to be humble with his talent, but graceful with his success.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know,
That's well said.
He just understands already. I mean, I know the game's going the other way. It's just one of those things when you see a great player, and you called it. He's got to step up for his team. Steps up and hits a big three at the other end. It's important.
He has 13 points, does Romeo Langford, in the last 7 minutes. So Ayala gets one of the two at the line. The lead is 7 with 2 to play.
Again, efficient. I would not like the shot clock getting down too late. Again, Maryland's in control. They'll let this thing go down as long as Indiana wants.
There he is again, this time off the heel. Boy, Archie Miller wanted to foul, did not get it. And that was a tough closeout, too, by Morcell.
But I can't imagine that's the offense you want when you're trying to come back under 2 minutes.
And I'm not sure that's what...
No.
That's not what Mark Turgeon wanted either.
What makes you say that? Screaming up and down the sideline?
Yeah. Langford now, you know, with he's got the ball, he's either going to get fouled if he takes it inside or score, one or the other. And it's 1-and-1 time.
And he's so strong because that center of gravity is so low. You know, for a taller player, young guys stand up when they dribble. He gets so low, so it's easy to absorb the contact and almost create the foul when he's going to the basket.
I think of the numeral 0, and it's a round number, and he's an all-around player in every aspect. I think you stated it in our shoot-around today earlier. He said at the next level, he's positionless. I think he is now. I think he can play any position on the floor at any level.
Yeah.
Well, those free throws make it a 5-point game, 2-possession game with 1:18 to play. And it wasn't easy early tonight. I mean, they were all over him. They struggled. And Maryland has certainly answered the bell, but he has come up big here in the second half, really keeping his team in it.
And it's a lot of pressure to put on most young players, most 19-year-old players, but his entire life he's had the microscope on him. Everyone's trying to figure out how to get close to this kid. How can we see greatness? And that's what it is right there, right in front of you.
Speaking of Indiana high school scoring leaders, Romeo at number 4, 3,002. Number 3, Deshaun Thomas. Played 3 seasons for Thad Matta at Ohio State, scored 1,600 points. Back to the 60s we go. Marion Pierce, 3,019 at Louisville High School. Played 1 year of junior college ball. How about Damon Bailey? Back in 1990. That class had 1,700 under Bob Knight at Indiana. Sweet 16 all 4 seasons, including the 92 Final Four. I wanted to make mention of this, too, because at the end of the year and during the holiday season, we hear so many tragic stories of guys that have passed away far too soon. And Eric Anderson is one of those guys. I had the honor of calling many of his games. In fact, he was an upperclassman at Indiana when Damon was a freshman. He died in mid-December at 48 of a heart attack. Had an incredible career, one of 6 Hoosiers to be in the top 15 for points and rebounds all time. Really sad to think of great guys like that, contemporaries really, and also one of the great scribes in our country and in basketball and all of intercollegiate athletics, Terry Hutchins. Terry Hutchins of the Indianapolis Star, one of the great sports writers, 5-time Indiana Sports Writer of the Year, passed away. And our thoughts and prayers, condolences to both of those families in the great state of Indiana. Must stop time here for the Hoosiers.
1 minute remaining. 1 minute.
They want to foul now.
Wow. That's surprising, isn't it? Archie Miller can't believe it. And it's on Romeo.
It's one of the most perplexing situations in college basketball when you're trying to come back, for a coach at least. If you're going to foul, obviously foul sooner. I don't think that was the intent.
No.
But you have to know that the officials are looking for that as that shot clock is running down towards the end of the game. They're looking for any type of contact that pushes the offensive player off of where he's trying to go.
I tell you, I'm impressed that Bo Borowski did not get upset with Archie Miller, because I think he thought, the elite official tonight, I think he thought Archie was more perplexed at what Romeo had just done than he was at the officials for having called the foul.
The Big Ten officials, I think they understand the personalities of the coaches, but not only that, they know the game. So they know, okay, he's probably a good idea he's not yelling at me about the foul. Probably never mad at his player.
Yeah, especially this late in the game.
Yes.
That's a bump on this end against Cowan. Really a similar maneuver by Cowan that Langford had a moment ago. No reason to put him on the line. Stop the clock, and Cowan picks up his 4th foul as well. And so Langford goes back to the free throw line. This is a stretch of games here at home for Maryland that mean a lot, because, Indiana on the flip side, they're playing a lot of road games right now. You have to get through different patches in a conference schedule, and it's critical to get those at home, isn't it?
Especially when you're a team as young as Maryland is. The more comfortable you can be, especially at the middle of your conference play, the better. Get experience, you understand what it's like to, you have a crowd behind you when things aren't going great like the first half. They help you pull yourself out of that funk, and that's exactly what the Terrapin fans have done in this game tonight.
You got a foul. Clock's winding down on you, and Tennessee does. It's good for Indiana. The good news tonight for them, and the takeaway, even if they can't mount the comeback, is it's nice for them to know that Tennessee is back.
17 minutes.
That's about what they thought they would get from him tonight. Can make life a lot easier for Langford with his presence on the floor.
You have to be careful with kids. Now, I mean, as a player, you're never going to come out of the game. I mean, unless something's broken, something's hanging off a finger, an arm, you're going to stay on the floor. But you have to be careful when it comes to concussions. And obviously, Indiana wants him on the floor, but health is first and foremost.
Hoosiers need something quick. And the right guy's got the ball for three. 25.9 remaining, and it's a 4-point game. Nothing comes easily.
I'm telling you, that's a tough shot. Going to your right for a right-hander falling away. He was right in line with us with the basket, so we could see how those shoulders were just square, the little sidestep. Doesn't look like a 22 or 23% three-point shooter to me.
Already big-time Big Ten Freshman of the Week on 3 occasions, and these two guys, Bruno Fernando and Romeo Langford, have been absolute monsters in the second half.
If I never saw this guy, his name being Bruno, I know he's going to be a man. I mean, that is a man's name, and he's got a man's game. And he showed up big time. And listen, he missed some early ones, but I think it's a testament to not only Turgeon, but to the guys around him. Again, young team to understand, we got to go to him. 11 for 12 in this game, and he missed his first shot of the game.
Yeah, 20 points for Langford, by the way, in this half. Fernando's got 17.
Yeah.
2 stars have carried their club. Got to get it in, and they do. And a quick foul given up. And it will send Eric Ayala to the free throw line. Extending the game, Archie Miller's club with 24.2 left. Regardless of the outcome, it will still be a 2-possession game, even if he makes the free throws. He's 2 out of 3 tonight. I know you had seen Maryland a couple of times this year. This is my first opportunity to see either one of these clubs. They're young. They're going to hang around and be around, I think, all this season. And the future is bright for both Archie Miller and Mark Turgeon.
They lost a tough one. Their last loss actually here, 4 games ago, 5 games ago now, to Seton Hall. And it was a heartbreaker down the stretch. They had the ball, shot clock off down 3, and they took an early, really ill-advised 3. It probably could have cost them the game, but they bounced back. They 24 seconds away from winning 5 straight. Pretty impressive how you learn, and young guys they bounce back, and they have in a great way.
Terrapins, we talked about being at home now and trying to take advantage of the opportunities that you have at home. Wisconsin next, and look at that road show that follows, huh? You want to feast at home, because look what lies ahead at Ohio State, at the Breslin Center. So you want to get those games. They play Illinois at Madison Square Garden in New York.
And even if you can win, you're still gonna fight for those wins.
Yeah. And there's Indiana's. And look, Nebraska, as you know, that's no pushover. That's a game you'll see preceding our game on Monday night.
It's one of my favorite teams in America.
I love the job that Tim has done there. One of the more charismatic young coaches in the Big Ten. And, of course, Purdue will be on Fox on the 19th. And whenever Indiana and the Boilers get together, that's something special. Again, something quick. And likely by this guy. This time he drives, and a teardrop comes up shy on the front iron. Pulled down by Cowan. He's trying to dribble it away. It went out of bounds. So 11.1 remaining and a little life left in Indiana. Purdue and Wisconsin coming up next here on FS1. We'll get you right there. And Los Angeles, Rob Stone is, as always, our maestro, pulling all the strings, getting us from place to place. stops the clock with 7 seconds left. And without question, as I mentioned, getting this young man back from Lafayette, Indiana, McCutcheon High School, is going to help this team down the road. Bruno Fernando, by the way, does get the foul. It's his 4th. And they missed him for 4 games. You think about where Indiana is as a program minus him, that says a lot. And I don't know that even with a loss tonight that they should move out of the top 25. I think they're still top 25 worthy, and certainly Maryland deserves to be ranked.
You go on the road and you play a tough game.
By the way, that's IU's first bench point tonight. Make it 2. Only 7 seconds left. We're going to keep it here with 7 seconds left. You know, whenever you come to Maryland, and we think of Gary Williams and his national championship, but I know it means a lot to you because you were there to witness it. The old left-hander, 348 wins in 17 seasons at Maryland, from 69 to 86, won the 72 NIT, 2 Elite Eights, 3 Sweet 16. Some images from Lefty Driesell, credited with inventing Midnight Madness, the first coach to win 100 games at 4 different Division I schools: Davidson, Maryland, James Madison, and Georgia State. At the time of his retirement, Lefty was the 4th winningest career Division I coach with 796 wins, and finally he was inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame and stole the show that night.
I was there
Went
that
on for 45 minutes, didn't it?
Yeah, 2 of my closest friends, Jason Kidd and Ray Allen, went in with him. And every guy, Steve Nash, got 8 minutes to talk. Lefty spoke for 48. And
it could have gone.
We wanted him
to keep going.
Yeah, oh yeah. It was so special. Just no regard for the time, but every story he told was like he was telling it for the first time. I mean, everyone was hanging on every word. It was just a special, special night for everyone there.
I can't tell you how honored I was to call some Lefty games. And to have the opportunity to also call some of his games once he went to James Madison and got them into the tournament. It was incredible, impeccable, and he did so much. And truth that you don't have to win the brass ring to be a champion, to be special, to make a difference. Lefty Driesell said, you know what, I'm going to be the UCLA of the East. And, you know, sometimes you live and die by those quotes. But even though he never made it to a Final Four, he was a champion in every respect. I loved hearing Terry Holland, who played for him at Davidson, tell Lefty stories. And, of course, Terry went to 2 Final Fours. One with Ralph Sampson and one after Ralph Sampson.
The relationships that he has, I think that tells about what type of champion he is. Coach K, George Radling, and Big John Thompson were the 3 that presented him up on stage at the Hall of Fame. So you're right. You don't have to win the thing to win in life, and that's exactly what he told us.
We get too caught up in that. I think as a culture, and, you know, I'm looking in the mirror and seeing the enemy, and sometimes it's us too. I think we in the media make too much of the gold standard being the Final Four, not the championship. 78 to 72. Maryland has hit the free throws, their last 9 to put this one away. Partner, it's been a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it tonight.
Let's do this again here in a couple days. What do you think?
Against maybe Wisconsin? By the way, they cut it to 3. They still have to inbound it, and they did. I wonder if Scott Van Pelt is going to be talking about that last bucket later tonight of Maryland alum. That's our final for Donnie Marshall, Tim Brando. Let's take you to Rob Stone, standing by in Los Angeles. Rob?
All right, Timmy B, thank you. 1 down, 1 to go.